Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are moving on now to a very interesting panel. We are going to explore in the next more than half an hour how we can achieve operational excellence and especially the balance between safety, sustainability and efficiency. As you can see in this panel, we have extinguished figures in the maritime industry. My name is Leonidas Karystios from DNV, and I will quickly introduce the members of this panel. First of all, next to me, we have Mr. Stylianos Psillakis, who is the Technical Director of Columbia Shipmanagement. Next, we have Mr. Dimitris Vastarouchas, who is the Chief Operating Officer and Vice President for Danaos Cooperation. And next, we have Mr. Evangelos Sfakiotakis, Chief Operating Officer for Diana Shipping Services. And to the end of the table, we have Mr. Dimitris Patrikios, Managing Director for V.Ships Greece. Gentlemen, I think we are, ladies and gentlemen, we are a little bit pressed with time, so I have promised I will monitor the clock. We have a number of questions prepared and topics to raise. I hope we will manage as much as we can. First of all, this is a question to everybody, but Mr. Patrikios, maybe I will start with you. We talk about operational excellence. Obviously, it's a very broad concept. Can you tell us what does it mean in practice for your organization, please?
Good morning. Thank you very much for being invited again as a panelist in this highly esteemed conference. Thank you, Nicholas and Olga, for inviting me, and I'm very proud to be among very highly esteemed colleagues. I would like to make, we're talking about safety, we're talking about operational excellence, but I would like to make an opening remark with some devastating news that we heard last week. A 20-year-old Greek sailor, a member of the crew of a ship, was transported unconscious to a hospital of Piraeus, where doctors pronounced him dead. According to the Coast Guard, the man was fatally injured when he became trapped in a watertight sliding door in the vessel's ground floor carriage. The value of life at sea cannot be traded for anything. I have a 20-year-old son, and when I heard the news, I felt the responsibility that all of us will have to protect the life at sea, which is something that all of us would reflect here, we should reflect on this here, because this is a systematic failure. And as leaders, as decision makers, as influencers in organizations, in our businesses, we must, first of all, protect the life at sea. This is my opening remark. And also the minister is not here because we're trying in Greece to attract seafarers in shipping. With this kind of examples, it will be very difficult to attract seafarers in shipping. And this can happen to any business that we are running, so we must reflect very seriously, all of us. Leonidas, you asked me about operational excellence. As a ship managers, we operate the ships of owners that do not belong to us. They have entrusted the vessels to us, and they expect for us to operate them safely. Our main asset is a token of compliance, the license to manage a specific type of ships, and this is the only way to survive in the market. We don't have any vested interests in order to subsidize or to assist our operations from other sources. So our strength as a group is the satisfied client. A satisfied client because we are an extension of their office and they expect from us a lot. How we implement this operational excellence? The holy grail of operational excellence is the continuous improvement. And how we can have continuous improvement? We can have a continuous improvement when you have a fearless organization, when we have an organization that the people are not afraid to report, they're not afraid to speak each other, there's a continuous communication between the vessel and the shore inside and the vessels within the members of the crew. And by having this fearless organization, we create a learning organization. Because in shipping, experience is the foremost and very important thing. We learn from our mistakes and we learn from the incidents of the others, and we learn continuously new things. Transparency. Being transparent is very important. Transparent not only with the clients, to be transparent with the organizations that are connected with us, to be transparent with ourselves, to be transparent within our organization. Training, continuous training. This creates the improvement and operation excellence. Training, coaching our people, mentoring our people, coaching and mentoring the young generation. Because when the young generation goes aboard the ships, are not so well educated. We don't want heroes. We want people, we want seafarers to work in the present conditions of the vessels and based on the specific and present conditions of living. We're not living in the past, we're living in the present, and we see the future. We must educate and we must train our people what is the meaning of accountability, what is the meaning of responsibility, what is the meaning of ownership. We live in a continuously changing world. Everything changes. So we must educate and prepare ourselves for the future, educate our clients, educate our people, see what are the things that are happening in the future, so we must prepare our organization to meet and exceed in the future. As a group, we're not located only in one position, but we have various offices across the globe, so we have an integrated system of support. So we have with that scale, we provide to our customers seamless operations worldwide 24/7. And the last but not least, we cannot manage something better without measuring this. So we need to have KPIs to measure this operational excellence, and these KPIs should be guided from the top, from the leaders, to be guided from there and monitor, audited, and use these KPIs continuously to see how we perform. This for the beginning, and thank you very much, Leonidas.
Okay, thank you, Dimitri. Mr. Sfakiotakis, obviously I think Mr. Patrikios covered a lot about what operational excellence means. He mentioned also about transparency, training. Can we hear from your views, considering the fact that you are also an owning company as well? Thank you.
Thank you, Leonidas. We thank the organizers for the invitation. Of course, Dimitris has covered sufficiently the subject. Nobody could object to what he said earlier. In any case, as a company, we are focused on the efficient and effective way of management of the vessels. But, of course, this is happening according to the industrial standards, or whatever the regulations are, and, of course, what the competition requires from us. But it is important to highlight that in our organization, we don't see the management of the vessels as, let's say, an asset play. Each vessel of ours is a cell representing Diana and our values and principles around the globe. So this is something that we focus upon, and definitely we try to combine in our daily business the heritage that we carry, being a ship-owning company, traditional ship-owning company, but also listed in the US stock exchange market, together with an uneasy stance in way of managing our vessels, being keen to improve our ways and our management style as time passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Vastarouchas, considering the model of your company as well, and the fact that Danaos is known to be quite innovative in many projects. But when we talk about safety, sustainability, and efficiency, Do you see any big conflicts between those terms, and how do you manage to resolve those?
Thank you very much for the invitation. First of all, I see my watch, so I still can say good morning. 2 minutes to go to 12. I will answer this interesting question, make a very, very brief summary about the excellence because it's directly connected with this. And I will say that it is important today, since we have the opportunity, to highlight what is different, because everybody knows what operational excellence is, which KPIs are combined with it, etc., etc. For example, and I will combine my reply with the risks and the conflicts that we have, which is very important nowadays. For example, the decarbonization and optimization of the company. Big issue for everybody. This is the mainly reason that we have too much uncertainty in shipping. Regarding this, I have to say that today we need to build very strong, solid plans for the future. It's not something that can be done on a troubleshooting basis. For example, let's place a bulbous bow. But what does it mean? It means that at the same time we have risks. We decide to invest, for example, in the green technology. But what if the selection fails? It is a financial disaster. What if this new technology creates more problems on board, like an ammonia leakage, for example? Then we have detrimental effects, and then we have serious issues with the safety on board. And what about the seafarers? Can they cope with the needs that these new developments require? All these issues have to be addressed and be a part of the company's low-carbon transition plan. So we need a solid plan, and we need to address these issues which are related with decarbonization. And then we have to move towards the digitalization. I heard many, many interesting things before in the previous panels about AI. But what I have to say here is that the real strength of AI is not ChatGPT, Copilot, and all these things which are really useful, and these are the first step. The real power of AI is the synthesis. How to make a synthesis of complicated issues. I can tell you a very simple example. AI runs our crew model and gave us data in 5 minutes stating that from that period and after, masters, for example, chief officers remain competent at the same extent, but the engine was observed that we had with engine crew that we had a downgrade. And why we had this downgrade? Because that time the system realized that we invested in a new fleet, new types, the average of the ship, all these data. But at the same time, that creates anxiety to our people in the company. This is one of the major conflicts. We experienced the anxiety of employees when Internet of Things came in the surface, when we started to have big data analysis. And my message here is that I believe that with AI, although it's very useful and is the way to go, unfortunately will create panic. Will create panic to those who belong to the previous generation, that they have not been grown with the screens and they are not familiar with it. So we have to make very selective and careful steps, using first AI as a tool, and then slowly, slowly to incorporate it in this synthesis analysis. And last but not least is the crew. We need to have a solid strategy for the crew, because we have shortages, we have lack of competence, we need special trainings, but most of all, we need engagement of the crew. Nobody from the young generation will work with a company as a loyal member as we have in our minds if they will not be engaged and aligned with the company's strategies, targets, and objectives. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to make a comment about AI. Let's not forget that the success story of AI depends very much on the data quality. So is a risk, significant risk of creating panic if the data that the AI is based on making the calculation is...
Allow me a very, very short comment. It is very important what you said. Number one, if we want really AI on board, number one is first to digitize data and digitalize processes. In Danaos, if you read our ESG this year, we are committed, our R&D department, that by the end of 2027, the company will be fully digitalized in all aspects.
Yes, yes. So, yes, thank you very much. Mr. Psillakis, I can come to you. And basically, the previous panelists touched about operational excellence, but also the interesting part is where we see the conflicts between safety, sustainability, and efficiency. Can I have your views, please?
First of all, kalimera. Thank you very much for being here today. So, Mr. Vastarouchas very well said that in order to align targets and to know where you are going, you need to have a business model that will be representative of what you are doing, basically, and it will reflect your wish. So, because we know that each entity must be profitability and all, you know all these things. So, indeed, these three things are sometimes in conflict, and why this is taking place, because, let's say, for example, efficiency, the need for higher speeds or the cost cutting, because cost cutting is also considered an efficient measure of reducing or reducing your expenses, increasing your profitability. This can compromise both safety and sustainability. The safety measures we have seen, especially with the geopolitical conflicts, we have seen recently the safety measures affecting vessels' operations. Sustainability, in order to be sustainable, you need to invest. So this will increase the operational expenses of your organization. So basically, you need to balance. You need to balance these three things. You need to have a business model, like Mr. Vastarouchas said, and to find the appropriate path that suits your needs. How we do it, we are using advanced data collection systems, we use predictive analytics, we use artificial intelligence for decision making. For sure, you need to invest on training. For sure, you need to find a way to improve the operations of your organization by design. And this is very important because we are dealing with humans and we tend to do mistakes. So you need to safeguard the operations of your organization by design and to balance all these three in order to succeed.
Okay, then I take the balancing, but before also you mentioned that efficiency, profitability, in other words, the long-term competitiveness. But I wonder if we're talking about company cultures, then we talk about safety, sustainability. Are those things seen as trade-off of the business to be competitive? Mr. Patrikios, your thoughts? Your thoughts on whether, when we talk about company culture for safety and sustainability, these are kind of trade-offs, or how we can do it so that it's not trade-offs for the long-term competitiveness of a company?
I do not believe that safety and sustainability are trade-offs. Sustainability, sustainable shipping means running maritime transport in a way that meets today's economic and trade needs without compromising the environment, without compromising the air, and the ability of future generations to do the same. So I see these two things to converge together. And this can be seen in the international regulations, which are the SOLAS, the MARPOL, the SPS, and the MLC. Regarding now the company culture, this is a very big question. Some years ago, I was in a conference related to the tanker operations, and I was asked by somebody from this oil major, what is the priority in your business? And I said, safety. He told me, safety cannot be a priority. You should start from safety. Probably he was exaggerated, but he wanted to pass the message, which has a great effect on me, that safety is something you start from in a company. How you create this company culture? The company culture is not the matter of a department, it's not a matter of ticking the boxes to comply, it's something more deeper. It's part of the DNA of the company. And how you create this DNA in the organization where the safety culture is embedded. The true culture, this true safety culture is created when leadership, the systems, and the people work together so that the safe operations simply means this is the way we do business. It's not a journey, it's a journey, it's not a destination. We must continuously work on developing and improving our safety culture. I said about leadership, systems, and people. Leadership, everything starts from the leaders. And when we're talking about leaders, we're not talking about the CEO or the managing director. We're talking about leaders in every level. Leader is the master, leader is the chief engineer, leader is everybody. Leader is the superintendent. Leader is everyone who comes into communication with somebody else and influences his behavior. So, as leaders, all of us, we should walk the talk. Some years ago, 10 years ago, the tanker industry has asked to pay leadership visits. When it was first heard in the market, there was a lot of reaction, a rejection of this concept. Because what we're going to do? We're going to do the superintendents? No. Actually, the leadership visits, which is embedded in our system, is something very important. And as leaders, we must visit the vessels to see what is the safety culture, to sense how we have implemented safety on board the ships. What we do and what we don't do are very important. We are all continuously observed by everybody in our organization how we act and how we do not act. We should be present in the difficult and the easy times. Second, systems. The systems, the safety management systems, should be tools, should be very simple and considered by the people on board the ships something that can rely upon. I don't want to go in details, but I have spent many times speaking with seafarers to explain them not only what to do, not only how to do it, but why we are doing this. Let's take the example of the checklists. The checklists are considered as a tick box exercise by most of the people. But why we have the checklist? The checklist is a reminder. Why the pilots, when they fly the airplanes, they always have a checklist. They don't know what to do. They know. It's a reminder. But of course, it's our responsibility to make these checklists tool, easy, simple for the people on board to use it. The third pillar is the people. How we work with the people. We must continuously train the people on board the ships, train the people in the office, to train them not only, let's say, on the emergency preparedness, but also work on the soft skills. The tanker industry has shown the way how to work on this. In 2010, and I stopped with it, I had, because the other participants should also add, I had a discussion with Ian Hunter, who was a very controversial person, who was the father of TMSA. And he said, we created TMSA because the ISM was not enough in order to make the shipping operation safer. And he said about the concept of cognitive dissonance, that the people, even though they know what to do, they don't do it. Why they don't do it? So we must work on this. And I would like to stop on this because I have taken much more time. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dimitri. Now I would like to move on to a next question, which is a little bit linked to the main topics addressed in the previous panels. Also in this panel, we talk about digitalization, we talk the use of AI, we need to be careful. None of this is affecting, if we are careful, the safety and the sustainability in shipping. However, we have also the alternative fuels. Mr. Sfakiotakis, can I ask which of the technologies, digital, AI, alternative fuels, are having the biggest impact on your operations today?
Thank you, Leonidas. So, taking from what Dimitris said just before, and having identified the DNA of our company, and this is something that most likely all the companies have done, through an inclusive process, meaning that all employees are aligned to that because we work together towards the targets of our company. Our mission as a company is to be in the forefront of the transition of shipping in a sustainable future, meaning that we have identified some pillars that we are going to work upon and some targets for the near and mid-term future. Out of them, decarbonization and the use of alternative fuels is one thing, but being honest with you, it is something that we cannot control at the moment, at least. So we have given particular emphasis in the digitalization of the processes and the procedures, the management style of our company, in order to prepare ourselves for the next step. And what would be the next step? It would be a combination of humans, ourselves, together with bots, robots, AI, whatever it could be, because there must be a balance, an equilibrium, and a clear reporting line. What I mean with this is who is reporting to whom, who controls what. In the initial phase, most likely we are going to control machinery, but this is going to be not for quite a long time. So that is the reason why we have this turbulence, and everybody is very anxious how this is going to look like in the future. And this is the way why the decarbonization and AI and all these developments are in our focus.
Thank you very much for your thoughts on this. I think I'm looking now at the clock and we have close to 7 minutes. So unfortunately, we will not be able to ask all the questions that we have planned today. But I think it is interesting to hear, maybe from you, Stylianos, about, we talk about industry-wide collaboration. This has a lot of potential for maritime. But maybe something is still holding us back. Your thoughts?
Okay, this is a good one. By the way, Leonidas prepared so many questions that we can take the whole day discussing about them, so relax and be patient with us. So, what holds us back? Let's see. Shipping industry is too complex. I mean, we have, let's take it from the beginning. We have terminals, shipbuilders, shippers, receivers, charterers, ship owners, ship managers. I mean, it's the legal framework for all this that all these entities have to comply with is enormous. I mean, and all of them, they are trying to safeguard their own profitability and their interests. So, actually, this is what holds us back, and where we can invest. We've seen recently initiatives and collaborations, especially when it comes to line shipping. We have Hapag-Lloyd and Maersk with Gemini. We have Premier Alliance But the issue is that we need to find a way to share data. First of all, we need to build trust. We need to start a constructive dialogue. And then if we build trust, we start a constructive dialogue and we align targets, because this is very important to align targets. I'm sure we will find the legal framework required to cope with the day-to-day operations of our fleet.
Okay, that's very interesting. And you mentioned about liners, for example. Then maybe I can ask Dimitris the same, since you are coming from a company that is very successful in the liners. How the industry can collaborate further in order all the things to go ahead instead of holding us back and moan, basically.
The first thing that is already done now is data sharing, day-to-day collaboration, transparency with our clients. For example, we participate in CMA CGM's Genesis program in Ankeri platform of Hapag-Lloyd, and we have communications APIs with Maersk and MSC. But I think the real opportunity for the future is a development of a thorough blockchain. But the blockchain networks so far are underutilized, and the main reason for this is that there are different mindsets and how we see these blockchain ideas, and at the same time, I see the bigger obstacle in the different speed that each part has as far as concern the development of the digitalization, etc., that we mentioned before. Because without full digitalization in place, these systems cannot work.
Yes, please.
Regarding the collaboration, I would like to add something, because I see Ms. Strauss here from Shell, being in the past member of the partner safety, we have proven in Greece that we can have all the companies here, 90 companies, working together on the safety issues, which was very, very important. This has shown that we have nothing to keep us separate on the safety issues. Safety concerns everybody, and safe shipping is good for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then I would think that if we are going to have this same discussion again in, let's say, 5 years' time, what would you hope to say that fundamentally changed in shipping approach when it comes to safety, sustainability, and efficiency? Mr. Sfakiotakis, maybe you can take this one as a closing remark. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Leonidas. So, I'm wondering, okay, we are going to improve our systems, we are going to improve our organizations, we are going to digitalize everything, we are going to have AIs, everything like this. But I'm a little bit skeptical of what is going to be the situation on board the vessels. As we speak, the global fleet is being served by nearly 1.8 million seafarers. Out of them, 800,000 are officers. And there are some analysis and statistic data that we are lacking, or by 2026 we are going to lack something like 90,000 officers, meaning 10% of the necessary volume of seafarers we are not going to be there. So we need to adapt. We need to take benefit of the technological developments and efforts on board the vessels, not only in our companies, in our headquarters. We need to see how semi-autonomous or autonomous systems like drones, robots, and everything like that are going to replace humans in risk-related activities like reaching heights within cargo holds, for instance, and things like that for maintenance purposes, etc. So I'm a little bit skeptical about this, and I look forward to seeing in 5 years' time from now how the situation will be on board the vessels rather than in the headquarters of our companies.
Yeah, thank you very much. Unfortunately, our time is running out significantly, so I think from this panel, I took some notes of some very important things that has been said, which proves the point that operational excellence is indeed a very broad subject. But we talked about knowledge sharing, transparency, alternative fuels, of course, but it's not the only solution, leadership, how to align the targets, and also we talk about the importance of crew and seafarers. But anyway, I think sustainability can be achieved through operational excellence, and it's not happening to the sacrifice of safety or anything else, which I think is the main message from today's panel. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for this fantastic panel. Thank you very much.